What if the greatest mass murderer in history actually saved the world? Not metaphorically, not accidentally, literally. What if millions had to die so billions could live? And what if the man responsible never lost a single night of sleep? That is the terrifying reality of Adrian Veidt, the man known as Ozymandias. Most people call him either a hero or a villain. Both are incomplete. Ozymandias did not save humanity because he loved people. He saved it because he could not accept failure. His story is not about compassion. It is about control. When Rorschach and Night Owl uncovered the conspiracy, they expected a final battle. Instead, Veidt calmly said, "I did it 35 minutes ago." The plan was already complete. The bodies were already cold. The future had already been rewritten. That single sentence explains Adrian Veidt. Most people act first and justify themselves later. Veidt justifies first, then acts. By the time anyone understands his plan, the equation has already been solved. This mindset began long before Karnak, long before Watchmen. As a teenager, Adrian inherited an enormous fortune. Most people would have protected it. He abandoned it, not out of generosity, but to prove that he alone could conquer the world. His idol was Alexander the Great, a man who bent history to his will. Veidt followed his footsteps, and every journey strengthened the same belief. History belongs to exceptional minds. Most people wait for direction. This was never confidence. It was the beginning of a God complex. People often mistake Veidt for an empath. He is not. Empathy requires emotional connection. Veidt rarely forms one. What drives him is perfection. Chaos offends him. Imperfection irritates him. He does not see people. He sees systems, patterns, variables, problems waiting to be optimized. And once humanity becomes a problem instead of a collection of lives, every moral boundary begins to disappear. Most billionaires accumulate wealth. Adrian Veidt accumulated influence. Money was never the objective. Control was. Veidt Enterprises became more than a corporation. It became a machine for shaping culture, fashion, technology, media, entertainment. Every year, his influence reached deeper into everyday life. People believed they were buying products. In reality, they were entering a system designed by a single mind. A mind studying humanity on a planetary scale. That is what separates Ozymandias from ordinary dictators. Dictators control governments. Veidt controlled narratives. He understood a simple truth. People rarely change because of force. They change because of stories. So he spent decades studying fear, desire, mass psychology, collective behavior. As the world drifted toward nuclear war, most leaders searched for diplomacy. Veidt searched for something else, a common enemy. History had taught him that humanity unites only when faced with a greater threat. The terrifying part is that he did not discover such a threat. He created one. Secretly, patiently, he purchased an isolated island, gathered scientists, artists, engineers, psychics. Each believed they were building something extraordinary. They were, just not what they imagined. The island became a laboratory for the greatest deception in history. Not simply a weapon, a symbol, something terrifying enough to unite the world through shared fear. When the work was finished, the witnesses became a liability. Every loose end was removed. Every witness disappeared. Not from hatred, not from revenge, because the equation demanded it. That is Adrian Veidt's true philosophy. Murder was never emotional. It was administrative. Human lives became variables, entries in a calculation. And while the world argued over politics and ideology, Ozymandias prepared something far greater. Not a war, not a revolution, a single psychological event designed to rewrite human history forever. The final stage of the plan was never about destruction. It was about mathematics. People remember the deaths, the horror, the devastation. But Ozymandias was calculating something far more abstract. Fear. He understood that fear spreads faster than armies, faster than ideology, faster than nationalism. The event in New York was designed to produce a precise psychological outcome. Shock large enough to interrupt the momentum toward nuclear war. Shock large enough to force enemies into cooperation. Shock large enough to create peace through terror. And for a time, it worked. The world stepped back from the edge. Governments united. Conflict slowed. Humanity survived. But victory came with a cost, because Adrian Veidt ultimately sacrificed the one thing he claimed to protect: his own humanity. Look closely at Karnak, his Antarctic fortress. It resembles a palace, a temple, a command center, yet it is also a prison, surrounded by screens, data feeds, and information networks. Veidt observes humanity from a distance. He sees everything and understands less and less. The more information he acquires, the further he drifts from ordinary human experience. Eventually, he becomes something strange. Not quite a ruler, not quite a man, more like a living algorithm, an intelligence processing civilization as data. He has achieved absolute control and absolute isolation. This leads to the most important moment in Watchmen. Not the attack, not the revelation, not the confrontation, the conversation. After everything is over, after the deaths, after the lies, after the world peace he engineered through mass murder, Adrian turns toward Dr. Manhattan. For perhaps the first time, uncertainty enters his voice. I did the right thing in the end, didn't I? It all worked out. It is a remarkable question, because beneath the confidence, beneath the intelligence, beneath the God complex, a frightened possibility remains. What if he was wrong? Dr. Manhattan's response is devastating. In the end, nothing ends, Adrian. Nothing ever ends. In a single sentence, the entire fantasy collapses. The perfect solution does not exist. History does not end. Human nature does not disappear. The future cannot be permanently controlled. And so, Ozymandias is left with his greatest punishment. Not prison, not execution, not revenge. Uncertainty. He built a flawless structure of peace upon a foundation of lies. Now he must sit alone inside his frozen fortress and wait. Wait for history. Wait for truth. Wait for the first card to fall. Because even the smartest man in the world cannot solve humanity. And nothing ever ends.